let me say something that just might sound crazy to you. If you're still living in the United States, if you have $3,000 a month coming in, you're not actually broke. Guess what? You're just in the wrong country. In the United States, $3,000 a month, that feels like survival. But here in Dominican Republic, $3,000 a month can get you a solid life. No struggle, no scraping by. I'm talking a decent life, comfortable and peaceful. And you may be asking yourself, well, do you live off $3,000 a month? Well, I would say we live off a little bit more than $3,000 a month, but not much more than that. However, our overhead is around $2,500 a month. Anything over that is because we're doing extra things and stuff like that. However, I still know what $3,000 a month can get you right here in Santo Domingo. And compared to what it will buy you in the US, it's not even close. So today I want to break down the real lifestyle, no spreadsheets, no fantasy, no YouTube hype, but what it actually feels like to live off $3,000 a month. Before we moved here, we were living in Fort Lauderdale, and as far as income, we were doing okay, but we still felt like we were behind. It almost felt like every year we were getting poor. The rent was high. The 2 car payments we had were high. Groceries were high. Insurance was high. I'm talking about everything was high, except me. I should have got high. But mentally, I was tired. Not physically tired, but just tired from life. It was almost like no matter how much you earned, it just wasn't enough. And around that time, that's when you have to start asking yourself, what if income isn't the problem? What if the problem is our location? And I'm gonna tell you, when we moved here to Dominican Republic, you can immediately see the difference because your money stretches a little bit further here. And to me, it's a noticeable difference. And that's when I realized this. If someone had $3,000 a month coming in, that they could actually make that work and make it work comfortably. So let's talk about the numbers. Realistically, no fantasy, what that would look like with $3,000 per month. First, let's talk about housing. You don't have to be stuck in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment if you're earning $3,000 a month. Here, you can get a nice 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in a good neighborhood, secure building, balcony, sometimes a pool for $800 to $1,200 a month. And a lot of people don't believe that. They're shocked that you can do that because back in the United States, $1,200 will get you a closet. And then if you add your utilities, you add your phone, you add your internet, you're talking about an additional $200 to $300 total. Let's move over to food. Fresh food here is really affordable. Shopping at local food marts are really affordable. You can either cook at home or you can go out pretty often, maybe once a week, and not be scared to swipe your card at dinner. Transportation. Ubers are cheap because everything is in close proximity here in Santo Domingo. Savings, weekend trips, date nights, gyms, maybe even a house cleaner. That's not survival, that's living. And that's the part that nobody talks about. It's not the math, it's the feeling that when you wake up in the morning, you're not worrying about your bills all the time. That hits different. You're not constantly checking your bank app every single day, wondering if you have money in your account. Nobody tells us that this is an option. Nobody tells us that, hey, you can just leave. But we can, and we did. And it changed everything. If you're remote, if you have online income, if you're a retiree, or if you just want peace, $3,000 a month is more than enough to start right here. And listen, guys, I'm not saying you're gonna be luxury rich, but you will be happy. And that's really what this channel is about building a life that you don't feel so trapped in. When I look around now, palm trees, sun, my family is close, time, freedom, I don't even think about how much money I make now. I'm always thinking about how good life feels at the moment. And if $3,000 a month can buy you that feeling, that may be one of the best investments that you can ever make. So if you're watching this and you're serious, I'm not talking about curious about if you can really make this move to Dominican Republic, don't guess, don't rely on vibes, run the real numbers. That's why I created the DR Cost of Living Calculator. Plug in your budget, your lifestyle, your family size, and it shows you what life would realistically cost for you to live in Santo Domingo. Rent, food, utilities, everything. Because clarity removes fear. And once you see the numbers, it gets real fast. And if you've already decided to move to Santo Domingo and you need to know the ins and out of the city, I created the Santo Domingo Life Bundle. This is going to remove all the guesswork and answer 95% of your questions. It breaks down neighborhoods, food, healthcare, everything that I wish I had known before I moved here myself. And maybe if you're not trying to move and you're trying to do something bigger and you're looking to invest in real estate, I work directly with a realtor here on the ground. We help people find condos, rental investment properties, stuff that actually cash flows, not tourist traps. So if you want to own a property here in Dominican Republic, click the link that says, I want to invest in real estate, and I will put you in contact with my trusted realtor, Milta, and she will be in touch with you. So if you're just in research mode, you're learning, you're watching, I recommend joining my newsletter, Live Your Best Life newsletter. I'll leave the link in the video description below. We talk about money, we talk about self-development, and also living abroad. This would be a great way to get your feet wet and join the community, but use whatever link that makes sense to you, no pressure. And maybe one of these days I'll run into you at a Comado or out on the Malecon and you're gonna say, Jay, that video is what made me finally make this move. And that's what it's all about. So until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
You both got my best life, yeah. You both got my best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. You both got my best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing,